Right, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. This is part 3 of Project Heat Shields, and going to lob the holes out a bit bigger. Decided. Not going to drill any more for the minute. That's the decision after all the deliberation. Because the old mesh won't show very well through 14, 16 mil holes, I'm going to lob them out to 20 mil. They're going to make them bigger. Looking at the Zard 2-in-1 exhaust, they have those big holes with the mesh behind, and I think that's the problem. The mesh is kind of this gauge, and I don't think it will show. So what I do quickly first, before I get the first coat of paint on these, is I'm just going to lob the holes out that little bit bigger. I took them out to 16. I'm just using the big bit and just pulsing it gently because the big bit can only do 450 RPM. Those great big cone bits, if you run them too fast, they overheat the metal, and then that hardens the metal and it doesn't cut. It just burns out your drill. So what I've got to do is just carefully pulse those through and drill those holes out as big as I can, trying to get out to 20, maybe 22 mil. Took these out to 16 already. That's 2 mil bigger. Still not big enough. Got those centre ones out. They're 18, and I still think there's loads of room for improvement there, because obviously you'll see more mesh behind them, and that's all good. So there we go. That's all it is for today. Without further ado, stop waffleage. Let's get stuck in. Pop out any bigger, so that's it. There we go. That's a bit bigger. Right, there we are, ready. They're 22 mil. Kept those at 12 because I kind of like that, so it looks right. I can always make them bigger, and they're now 20 mil, which is much better than 14. Lobbed them out 6 more mil each, so that's brilliant. Now all I want to do now is prep these for paint. Just got to clean them, get them set up, and then lay a coat of paint on, because you can't prime it. So I need to lay some paint up, get some thickness on there, ready that I can then rub down and treat as a base coat. Because it's quite scratchy, but that's good. It needs to be scratchy for a good key, especially that one, because that's going to do all the rubbish. That sits on the top of the exhaust along there, gets rubbed by your leg all the time. So going to get a key on those. Sorry, I've got a key on them. I'm just going to get them set up for paint and then clean them off, lay a couple of coats on. Right, and I'm cleaned up. Right, just using acetone to clean them up. That's just to get my fingerprints off and any working residues. I did try this with the exhausts, and it's ever so good. It works extremely well. Gets them completely dust and dirt free, gets all the grit off. Ready for paintage. All right. Right, that's then basically prepped. Now I'm going to prep the area, get some sheets up so it doesn't cover everything in black dust. There we are, all boosted up, everything ready, covered up. Trouble is with this stuff, this old VHT, it contains the ceramic, so as a material it's very heavy, and everything that you spray finds its way downwards to the floor at some point. So I'm spraying this down because I just want to put some layers on this. When I sprayed it hanging up before on the exhaust, it was everywhere. So I've cammed up the bikes, cammed up Penny's bike, well, whatever. And obviously anything on the floor just gets swept up, but that's the residue where it's stuck to the floor before. So we're all ready, and all I need to do is blow probably 3 or 4 coats, good coats, over this, just to get it going, just to get a layer on it, because obviously I can use this as a primer. That's the idea. This stuff, you use it as a primer. It says so in the instructions. You lay it on, just feather on the first few coats, just dust them on, and then they bond. Don't lay up any weight till you've got roughly full cover, and it is designed to go on to neat metal with no primer. Obviously you can't use primer because it'll burn. It'd have to be very high temperature paint, or primer rather, but it isn't. This stuff just goes straight on as it is. So there we are. I'm just going to get this rattled up. I've got a third of that left that I saved, and 2 full ones. And the 2 full ones are going to be for the full job. This is just going to be the remainder of that, maybe a bit of that, and we'll get the whole thing in colour. Holes are the right size. Okay, let's go. Right, here we go. Just a dust coat. Just like that. Just dust it on, literally as thin as you can, and it will set. And form a bond upon which the next coats can stick. If you just whack it on, obviously like any paint onto bare metal, it will just peel up, or fisheye everywhere. Wet thick. That's it. The other thing I learnt from my paint mentor Milo, if you look at Milo Garage, I've said this many times, Milo's little piece of information or a little nugget that I learnt from them was, when you're going to do anything like this, just make sure before you start you can get all round it, do all sides, all corners. There's nothing you can't reach, so you have to go moving it while it's wet. If you've never watched Milo Garage, give it a look. Milo's a fantastic guy over in California. He's a kind of prince of the trade paint guy. I think I've said all this. Not much he doesn't know about paint. You might learn a trick. Right, now that's just dusted on. The first layer all round with no build whatsoever. Nice and uniform. Give you a close look. That's what you're looking for in your first coat. Literally just a dusting, a light dusting, with it all still visible through to the metal. And this isn't the top coat, this isn't the finished job. All this is loads of paint. I'm just going to lay loads on so I can rub it back, because obviously this is well scuffy, especially this piece. May not be, may lay these up, come back, it's perfect, in which case just scotch it up and then put the top coats on. But there we are, 15 minutes, let's come back when that's set. Alright, here we go. Now you can be a little bit more generous in the second coat, because you've already got your primer on there, but not too much. Still easy to overdo it, overload it, and then it will fisheye up. that already. This is, like I said, just one more time, I said this, I'm just laying up loads of material ready to rub back and give me a nice undercoat. So it really doesn't matter if there's a little bit of trash in it or if it's less than a perfect finish at this point. There we go. Right, coat number 2. Right, fresh can, second coat. Second proper coat, that is, after the dust coat. Let's go. With this one. Oh, and incidentally, when you check it's touch dry, on something you've oversprayed on, just check that. It's touch dry but still soft, so I know that the job will take the next coat. Now I can lay a proper coat on the proper way. Just going to shut the door. Bit of trash about. Right, there we are, that's a proper heavy wet coat. Both directions. Okay. Invert the can and clear the nozzle. That's it. Okay. I'm going to give it 20 minutes this time. As that makes it 8 o'clock. So going in for a cup of tea. Right, last one for tonight. Someone asked me the other day on one of the comments, are you going to leave the inside silver to reflect heat? Well, I suppose that's a logical thing to do, but there's so much of this paint around, it's kind of sticking to the inside as well, so it'll be what it'll be. They don't get that hot anyway, to be honest. They really don't. They're quite effective heat shields. They actually do their job very well. They shield all the unbearable heat. You can put a naked hand, a bare hand, on them when the engine's running, and it's not uncomfortable. So I don't think that's too much of an issue. There we go. Good thick coat on that. One more on the middle coat. This gets a lot of hit, this thing. It gets a lot of, your leg rests on it when the bike's, when you're standing still and you put your feet down, your right leg rests against it all the time. So you know what it's like, boys. Your levers always touch your tank and they put that little tattoo pattern around the back of your tank. I want this good and solid. There we go. It's actually blooming up now because it's raining outside. If you ever sprayed gloss black in the damp. more over that. Right, that's it. There we go. That's it for one night. Let's give you a look. Okay, here we are. Now that's 3 heavy coats of the engine lacquer. There's a lot of trash in it, but it doesn't matter. I haven't bothered too much about making a proper booth that's free of any dust or anything. There's a little hair in it somewhere. I remember now. Probably immortalised it now. But there we are. That's the main one there. I want to get as much paint on them as I can so that I can rub it back. This is basically a primer, filler primer if you like. And now I'm going to rub all that back, get a nice soft sheen finish, and then put 6 heavy coats on to finish and bake them in. I'm going to have to bake them in with a blow lamp because obviously they won't get hot enough in use. You saw when I did the exhaust on the bike, the smoke comes off it because it gets really hot. And this stuff cures. It dries in air, but it will never cure until you heat it. And that's when the resin that lives, you've got 3 constituents. You've got the thinners, the resin, and the ceramic. And the ceramic particles are all you want left when it's finished. And that's why you have to put quite a lot on, because it shrinks right back. There isn't much left when you're finished. A thin coat of really hard ceramic that's really hard wearing. But if you leave the resin in it, it will always mark and you'll get fingernail marks and so on. And the only way to get that out is to bake it out. And I can't put it in the oven because it's all too big and it will poison me food. And obviously Penny will probably smack me around the head with it. So it will just get baked on with a blow lamp. Just burn the back of it with a blow lamp, heat it up just enough till it smokes, till it stops smoking, and then it's cured. And that's how we'll do it. Anyway, there you go. That's all I can do for tonight. So there we go, drying times again. Not much I can do now for 48 hours. It's Sunday, it's 10 to 8 PM, and I'm going to get this uploaded hopefully before bedtime. And that's going to need 2 days, good 2 heavy days, probably until Tuesday afternoon before I can get near touching that and it doesn't fingernail mark. No point trying to rub it down when it's soft, you just tear lumps out of it. I'm going to cure it with the old blow lamp, like I said, before I rub it down to get it nice and tough. And then it's top coat time. Once all the top coating's done, then the brass goes in at the end. Somebody said, what about black mesh rather than gold? Well, yeah, I like that, it's cool. But that's very easy to do, really. If you put the gold mesh in, it looks a bit too sort of 80s, a bit too White Sox, then all I've got to do is paint it. Just put 1 coat of the black over on the mesh and it will be black mesh, simple as that. And it will cure itself as soon as it starts getting hot, because the mesh there, that isn't brass, that's aluminium that's been anodized gold. It's better. Using brass would just go green, that's the process of verdigris, blah blah, you know. So I didn't want to use proper brass mesh. It's a proper anodized finish, and it's nice and light, and the reason I like it being aluminium is I can just bend it to shape by thumb because it's got a curve to the inside of that. There we are. That's enough waffle. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. That's been part 3 of Exhaust Heat Shield Project. Try everything with Bob. Ride safe. See you next time.